All right, guys, so we are back in the garage. I already did basically what I was planning on doing, which, if you remember from the last video, had the threads in the block for the head bolts studs, I guess, since mine are studs, they stripped out. One of them did. So I didn't decide. My boss, Devin, he said that we could time cert it, and that would actually be just as good as having actual threads in there. But the thing is, M11 by 2 time certs are unbelievably expensive. So we have 7/16 stuff, so we decided to go with a 7/16 thread. And I found a stud from ARP, as you probably heard in the last video, but it was rated for almost as much tensile strength as these ARP 2000s that are in here. Or I don't know if they're 2000s, they're the CA 625s, the best ones they have. So we decided to go that route. So I made these fixtures. This one is for drilling, so it's kind of specific for that hole that I was doing. So just this pocket right here is drilled to the exact size of the tap drill for whatever tap the outside of the time cert is. So the reason that we did this is because there is not a ton of clearance between the stud and the actual head when you put the head on. So you got to make sure that that drill goes right on through there without tipping or anything, especially doing it in the car with a hand drill. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Plus, I had this damn brake thing right here, so that didn't make life any easier. So then we used that one to do the drilling, and the drilling was a little difficult, but it went okay. We got all the way to the bottom. Then I made this one, which has a larger hole through it. That is the exact size of the tap, so I could make sure that at least the tap was square, because I tapped it with a drill until I ran up to the plate. Then I took the plate out and then tapped it the rest of the way by hand. So we got all that stuff done, and then to recess the time cert so it's below the deck, just like the regular threads are, we had to open up the hole for the actual stud. So as you can see there, maybe it's kind of hard. That hole we drilled out. That one, I did not have a plate or anything like that for, so that one was a little trickier, but also it didn't mean a whole lot. It was just clearance, but it also does set the depth for the time cert. So I got that one pretty square. The start of it was pretty brutal, but after I got her going, then she floated right on through nice. I set a little stop on the drill. I had that thing, this guy right here. So I attached that to the drill, drilled her all the way down to our depth. That would pretty much match up the studs, so they were roughly the same length, which they ended up not being, but that's because that's quite a different stud than the other ones. The way it's designed is a little different. So, but we got it close enough to where it would work. Got her in there, everything went well, and I hit it with the torque on the 30, all good. Hit it with the torque on the 70, all good. And then I got to the next hole. So if you're looking at the ARP torque chart, this bolt, which is the one I fixed, is number 9. This one's number 10, and that one did the exact same thing as number 9 did. So I only had one stud, of course, but we just elected that it's probably gonna pull another one out, because I don't know what happened to this block or what the deal was with it. You know, it's been used before. Obviously, it's a OEM block. It's been used, but maybe it's just a defective one, but the threads are just no good in it. I haven't even made it to 100 foot-pounds on this one. I've had this head off 3 times with this motor, and it just don't like it. And I don't really I use impacts after shit is loose, so I wasn't impacting on it or anything like that to ruin it, you know, where you're hammering on it hard with the impact. So I don't know what the deal is, but it's iron block time. This block, there's nothing wrong with it now. I mean, you can totally throw some 1/2-inch studs in here. It'll be just fine. So I'll probably keep it for that, or I'll sell it to someone if anyone wants it, to put 1/2-inch studs in it. I mean, that's all it needs now. Like, you don't trust the threads anymore, not gonna use it, but you do the Tick Performance 1/2-inch stud kit or whatever, you can drill all those holes right out. Everything will be fine. Run the big ones, get some heads that have 1/2-inch holes, or drill out your heads, and you'll be good to go. So I am now beginning to pull this iron block apart to do a little sloppy, not so sloppy engine build. I'm just going to pull the pistons out, run a dingleberry through them, re-gap the rings, slap some bearings in it, even though that's probably not really necessary. These bearings look fucking mint. So, I don't know. They definitely look used, I guess, but they have no scarring or anything on them, so not too bad. I don't remember how many miles this motor had, but I'll re-bearing it and get her ready to go and put it in the car. So that's kind of my plan for now. I'm just working on kind of getting it apart and doing some things like that. Yeah, hopefully all goes well with it. I'm gonna chase all the threads with a tap so everything screws in nice and easy, but after all that stuff, I'm definitely an iron block guy because that's a pain in the ass and like a huge buzzkill when that happens. So very, very dumb, but we'll get this one prepped up. I got to figure out something with the cam bearings. I know everyone says don't replace them, but you know, the way shit's just been going, I won't replace them and I'll fire it up for the first time with no oil pressure. So we're not going to do that. That just doesn't sound like a plan that I'm super interested in. So I'll have to figure out something with that, something how to install them because I know that they are a pain in the ass. But yeah, I'm going to get to ripping this baby apart and maybe by next weekend we'll be ready to put it in. We'll see though. All right, guys, so it is 1 week since the last clip in the video, which was me popping the iron block apart. And one thing led to another, and it's in the car. So took it to work, cleaned up all the rods and pistons, did all that stuff, cleaned the crankshaft up, then I just did a little sandpaper on the deck and got that about as flat as you could, and then cleaned up the rest of it, brought it to work, and then we installed the cam bearings and put it through the wash and got everything kind of all prepped, honed the cylinders, and then brought it back last night, which would be Friday night, and put it all together. Took the other motor out. That one's sitting right here. So I needed my ARP main studs out of there and the oil pump and just some random things like that. So I grabbed all that stuff out of that motor, put her in this one, got it together about 2 a.m. last night, and put it in today. So I know you guys have seen me do this a couple times. If you want to see it, I've done it twice now. One was one of the first couple videos last year, and then the other one was earlier this spring. So just kind of whipped it out. I mean, don't have a whole lot of time, but took me 6 hours from on an engine stand to completely hooked up, fluids, water bled out of it, all that good stuff. But she is ready to start up. So I am going to do a TPS auto set and then pop this baby off and see if she goes. I primed oil in it and everything seemed to be good there. So hopefully all is well. She fires right up. Well, guys, as you've seen, we got her running. So that's definitely awesome. It was a ton of work. All that happened in the course of about 24 hours. So I fired it up around 6 o'clock and we started taking it apart around 6 o'clock the previous night. So not too shabby. Everything went extremely smooth on all that stuff. I mean, I had one minor transmission leak, as you've probably seen in the startup video. But other than that, I don't think it's a late leak to drop since it's been running. Yeah, she looks pretty damn good under there, so it's awesome. Very happy about that. So should have filmed some of it, but it's also just kind of boring stuff. But I did drive it quite a bit this weekend. I think I put probably around 50 miles on it, maybe 60. Just putzing around, you know, only made like 2 pounds of boost or whatever. Just kind of breaking in the motor. I'm gonna change oil in it and kind of do some of that stuff. But my Aeromotive 10.0 died again for the second time this year, and the third fuel pump of the year. So I swapped it back to the 5.0 and now it runs again, but I think we're just gonna do a big old switcheroo on the whole fuel system and maybe the combo. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see how the winter's going or what kind of all happens with all that stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely sick of that pump. I don't know if it's a heat thing because the radiator's back there or if they're just shitty. I mean, I have no clue. It's wired the best you could wire it. I mean, you know, it doesn't really look that pretty, but it's all right to power, right to ground, trigger from the key. I mean, it's about as simple as it can get. Ground is on the battery, power is on the off or the on side of the switch, which is how it's supposed to be. And then the TPS wire, which I just have into an output in the Holly, so when you go like 40% throttle, it just goes wide open. But the thing just won't stay alive, and this one was like trying to turn. The other ones, they just don't do nothing. The other two that have died just didn't do anything. This one, it was just making this horrible little squealing noise. No fuel pressure, nothing. So I don't know what the deal is with that. They say the plates are warping on them, so I don't know if the plates are just so fucked up that they're not going to work anymore or what. So I'm going to send it back. Hopefully they fix it again, and maybe I'll ask them they can just keep it and send me a mechanical one, because I'm kind of over these pumps that there's just too much nonsense. You end up making such a mess with fuel and all that stuff, and it's super lame. But other than that, everything's awesome. Car runs great. I'll probably drive it more this week. It's very nice and cool out, so the car runs just extremely cool. You can literally drive it anywhere if the fuel pump continues to work. I really, really like driving this thing. It is so much fun. The iron block is awesome. Makes a clean, crisp 63 pounds oil pressure on the startup, so that's pretty beautiful. And no smoke, no nothing. She just runs great. Didn't even really have to change the tune-up at all. Just drive it around and enjoy it, and that's what I've been doing. Had the radio cranked and all that good stuff. I'll try to film some more of that this week, because I'll definitely drive it quite a bit if I'm not out deer hunting. But yeah, that's about going to wrap up this video. I don't really have anything else to say. Everything went super good with fire up and install, and kind of getting good at it. Done it a couple times. But yeah, well, thanks you guys for watching. See you next time.